Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while for one of these streams. I'm delighted to welcome back an old friend, a man that still campaigns the innocence of Jimmy Savile, the only man I've met who shares a timeshare in Cambodia with Gary Glitter, but also a man that I'm honoured to call a friend. Welcome back, Andy.
Well, to be fair, that's pretty much a decent introduction, but yeah, it is, and that's also pretty ironic coming from someone who is now an official sex pest.
Oh yeah, but pregnant married women, so that's fine. At least they're of legal age.
Yes. Are we definitely coming through, by the way?
It says there's 4 viewers. It's been a while, guys, so if we have a few technical issues, if anyone in the chat can let us know if you can hear us clearly and that everything seems okay, it would be really appreciated. And hi, Ms. Kizzy, because that's the only person who said hi, so definitely something's going on, but I don't know what.
Yeah, Miss Kizzy, I remember from when we used to do these streams of, we used to just talk about any random crap, didn't we? But
well, that's what we're doing tonight, isn't it?
Yeah. And to be fair, there is a market for that on the internet. It's like, you just see some of the stuff that goes on, and it's like, at least we're not pretending to be anything other than just 2 guys chatting shit.
Well, exactly. We're not pretending that we have knowledge on anything. We just like to talk about it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I still can't find. I still can't find the stream.
No.
But if people are there, then it might be me. So
well, there's Ian Harvey too. So hello, Ian. It does say there's one viewer, so I don't know what's going on, whether it'll work. We'll just
no, it's all good. It's just not, for some reason, it's not showing up on my on the desktop, but it is on the
Hey, Dan Jones. Yes, and we are all weirdos for being here. So I guess we can talk about sort of random crap for a few minutes and see if a few people want to join before we get into the serious stuff.
Serious stuff, like the trolling of Lorne. Oh, yeah. Let's get the best man on the job for this.
Well, exactly. We'll just we'll shoot the breeze until we get into a deep dive on Lorne Armstrong.
Well, we can talk about your deep dives. Because that is how I advertised this stream on my channel. I said, well, let's talk about Adam's multi-trillion-dollar lawsuit against the former Lornography.
I did nearly name the stream Anna Didi wants to talk about Kennedy, but I decided not to.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, well, obviously that's a rather tongue-in-cheek multi-trillion-dollar lawsuit. Bye.
Isn't it? I was just thinking, dude, right? We used to do streams on your channel nearly sometimes every week for quite a while. We'd both usually be intoxicated, you more than me usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd do them together when I went to visit you in Spain. Once we did one from
Cyprus.
From Cyprus.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier, like what a great week that was.
Yeah.
And we did shoot the shit is probably the best way of saying it, about all kinds of stuff. Do you remember that Pizzagate?
Yeah, we talked about that, Pizzagate and Elsagate. And so, hey, Luke, I haven't seen Luke for ages, so I just have to say hi. And hi to anyone else coming in the chat that I haven't said hello to. Hi, everyone. But yeah, there was that whole Elsagate thing, which I made a video on, actually, that it was still going on in some sort of dark corners of YouTube. That's... I think it's sort of mostly disappeared and gone now, but it's crazy that was happening and it was not really talked about by many people.
No, but it's funny. I have got a bit of a different slant on it now. I was reading this thing about conspiracy theories and how the internet sort of sucks you in, no pun intended, on with regard to these crazy stories about how evil corporations are trying to brainwash kids and that. And I was thinking, I think we actually might have missed it there because, and do you know what's interesting? If you think about the nature of conspiracy theories, I remember someone did one once about Lorne, and it was Lorne, the Lorne situation was orchestrated to get Del Harvey a job at Twitter. And I was like reading it thinking, fucking, and for a few moments, I was like, that might be true. And I was thinking, shit. And then it made me realize how easily the human mind is manipulated if the right, because you must admit, conspiracy theories about 9/11 and things like that. You watch it and you go, fucking hell. It's very easy to get sucked into these things, isn't it?
Well, it's the thing with, if someone puts forward a plausible or like reasonable kind of conspiracy theory, then it's very hard not to go, oh, do you know what? That makes a lot of sense, and just jump on that bandwagon. But like you're saying about the internet warping kids' minds and stuff, I think Facebook is the worst for that. Like, I just don't go on Facebook anymore because...
No, you've always stayed away from Facebook, really, haven't you? Ever since I've known you, you've never really been on there, which is to your credit, really.
It's one of those places where, like, misinformation gets pushed to the top of everyone's lists because it's like, that's how their algorithm works. The most controversial posts go to the top, so then people end up following it. Honestly, if I go and look through people who still actually post on Facebook these days, it's all full of anti-vaxxers now. That's all I see. People posting, oh, don't get vaccinated. Your children are going to be autistic if you get vaccinated and stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry to use a rather buzzword, but it's sheeple that sort of see the most popular counterculture view and jump on that bandwagon without considering whether it's dangerous or not.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, Adam. I'm going to get on my high horse here about reading books again, but I'm reading a book at the minute called Stolen Focus by Jonathan Harry, which is, everybody needs to read it. And it basically talks in detail about what you just mentioned about Facebook's algorithms and how Facebook is designed. I mean, it seems like an obvious thing to say, but Facebook makes money the more time that you look at it.
Yeah.
And your human tendency is generally to focus on negativity, like toxic viewing and hate watching. Yep. We all do it to a degree, some more than others. Some people spend their entire lives to badmouth things, politicians. It's like, I remember when only today there was a news article about a policy that Boris Johnson's coming out with now about how to reduce inflation. It's something to do with making redundant 90,000 civil servants, and all the people packed on in the comment section of the Sky News post.
Yeah.
And all these armchair politicians were going, well, clearly that's not going to work, is it? He doesn't know what planet he's on. And I'm thinking, he doesn't make these decisions because he wants to fuck up the country. He thinks he's making the right decision. Doesn't mean he's right, and it doesn't mean he's totally good. But so many people think that they know what's best. It's actually remarkable how arrogant people are, and Facebook feeds into that. And it's not that Facebook's evil. They're a business, and under their business model, they want to make money, and to make money, they want people to view their content more. In order for them to adopt a more ethical business model, they would lose maybe half of their value.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any companies in the world, or very few, I'm sure there's some, with very enlightened people running them. But enlightenment doesn't very much allow for capitalism, really. It does, and it doesn't, because capitalism, it works because you want more money. You want your business to be successful. Obviously, it gets on a different scale when you're talking about mass corporations, because then I know what people might be thinking, but like, you're talking shit, they're earning trillions, they don't need that much money. But of course, it's a lot more complicated than that. But this is a grander way of looking at it. But of course, the Facebook thing is it's so right, and I find myself addicted to it, scrolling, and it's to your credit.
Oh, you're breaking up a bit. Oh, hello. Sorry, guys, we've lost Andy for a minute. Oh, there we are. Hello. No, it's gone again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think we're buffering a little bit.
Actually, your Skype call dropped, but don't worry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
You were saying Facebook.
Shit. No, just how how Facebook is. It's just run the way it is because they're trying to make money, and the more people get drawn into what feeds their ego, whether it's negativity about politicians, celebrities, or whatever it might be, you know. It's kind of sad, really, but that's the way we're going.
Yeah, well, maybe there'll be another socialist uprising. You never know. But anyway, should we talk about what we're here for?
Well, I don't know. What are we here for?
Well, to talk about Lorne and Kennedy and Joran.
What should we talk about first? Let it roll, Adam.
What? Put it to a poll. Who should we talk about first?
Yeah, your own poll.
My own poll. Right. Put it in the chat. 1 for Lorne, 2 for Kennedy, 3 for Joran. And then we'll talk about one of those subjects. It's like that comedy game show where they have to talk about a subject for a minute that they don't know anything about. Andy's the only one who's voted. And
That's so much for captivating the audience.
Yeah, no one's even listening anymore. They're just here to support. They're just left themselves logged in and pissed off. Everyone's going Lorne, it looks. Well, everyone being you and Dan. Fucking Dan. Sorry, Dan, not you. The other. Not that I have anything against any Dan, actually. Daniel Radcliffe. Well, not really.
What Lord did we want to talk about anyway? I didn't.
I've got some things. I've actually written a couple of things we can talk about Lorne. El Hera has said 11111. Add a few zeros and we've got binary code. So I guess Lorne is the answer. Our God is a jealous God. So, well, actually, Andy, I had I guess, quite a deep question to go straight into. Are we experiencing the greatest era of Lornography at the moment with all this new content?
No.
No. Well, that's killed that conversation. Right.
No, it hasn't. But I stick to and it's what we mentioned when we did a stream on my channel, didn't we?
Yeah.
When we spoke, when you said that you went on the Temple of Teacat. And the greatest time for them was when we were making videos. Now, I don't just mean that from like me and you were getting all the attention. That must mean it was good.
That was the greatest era of Lornography when we were popular. But no, sorry. Oh, is he gone again?
No, it was it keeps breaking. Sorry, dude.
Don't worry, I can hear you fine.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it was not because we were making videos. The reason we were making videos is because of what was going on. Now, just think, I really want people that are familiar with the Lorne saga and have followed it, think about a time when Lorne had just made contact with the community. We didn't really know why or what specifically Ember was up to or, you know, how much she was talking to him. It was a little bit of a mystery. All we knew was that Lorne had his YouTube channel and was talking to people individually and arguing with people, trying to defend his position, as well as making content that was so bad that it was good, like the Lorne reality show. Like every time someone would post something in his comments, he'd have a meltdown. Like, you can't tell me that wasn't the golden era, but the purists may say, and I sort of would say that this has got some merit, is that pre-contact Lornography, there was something special about that because the mystery was there.
Do you think we would still be here talking about him if he had never made contact with anyone? Or do you think we would have run out of stuff?
No, we Charlo, dude. We'll talk about Joran soon, dude. I know you're a bit of a fan of his misdemeanors, so it'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks. No, but you've got to remember when we first met. It's like I'm getting sentimental when we first met. But like it was, I think it was pre-contact. I think it was about the time we started talking.
It was. I remember because I was listening to
your stuff.
I was listening to your videos, and I thought I was big thing at the time because one of my videos had really taken off, and I was like, dude, I've got this channel with like 5,000 subscribers, but I love listening to your I remember what I said in the message. I said,
you sold me a Peter Kay talking about
yes,
Lorne.
you sound like Peter Kay talking about Lorne Armstrong. It's brilliant. Although a lot
for anybody that doesn't know, Peter Kay is a very famous comedian in England who is actually from the same town that I live in. So the accent's very similar.
Chorley FM. I can't do your accent, but Chorley FM coming in your ears.
I think there was something special about that time.
Well,
I always used and Bass Sharman captured the spirit of.
Oh. His call's gone again. We're going to have to guess what the end of Andy's sentence was. I think that sounds like he might be back.
You
cut out, Andy. So the last thing. The last thing we heard was Bass Sharman.
Yeah, when he captured the spirit of Lornography, that was my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Shaman's stuff was really good and funny and abstract. I don't know if you remember the story he wrote, though. That was a bit much even for me. The what if story about if Kayla had been real and Lorne had taken her away, and it got really dark, and she ended up like being dead, and then he fucked her dead body or something. It was pretty dark. His stuff was very funny. And I remember when you got that call and sent it to me, that very first call that was like 4 hours long. And he goes through almost every emotion in there. That's the Lorne is a butthole call. And you sent it to me, and we were just like, this is the best thing we've ever heard.
It was amazing. Do you know what was? It was almost biblical. In that, can I suggest Andrew? Yeah, cheers, dude. Do you know what's ironic about this? Is I'm actually hooked up to next doors because mine's shit. That's the ironic thing about it. But fucking hell, it spoiled my train of thought. Then what was your part? What did you say then, Adam?
The Ramona call, Lorne is a butthole.
Yeah. It was listening to that for the first time was so almost religious, like biblical, in that it was exactly what I asked for and what I hoped. It was like your favorite artist in the world releasing an album and you listen to it for the first time, and it's better than you could have ever imagined. That's
the one call I always have on my phone. If I'm ever on a journey on a train or whatever, I always end up listening to that over again. I think just because it's so long, but he goes through so emotions. If I remember it correctly as well, like you get rages, you get crying, you get everything that was like a precursor that was to come. But I actually think currently, maybe it's not the greatest era, but it's definitely a contender because this new stuff coming out, I know we discussed it on the stream on your channel, but the Rod and Sheffrey calls are just masterpieces.
Well, I don't. The thing is, all that they do, and I'm not saying that they're not ridiculously entertaining because I find them entertaining, even to the point where I was listening to it today. It's just taking Lorne to the brink of rage, which isn't difficult. It's not. Well, it's not that it's not difficult. I'm not trying to demean who's doing it, but what I'm trying to say is, he's so gullible and stupid and desperate that it's just taking him to the brink and listening to him react. Because, you know, the kind of... I think we discussed it. My favourite part of it is the Rod call where he I don't know whether to refer the robot as a he or a she, but the robot keeps Lorne hanging for 30 seconds, and then the robot says, I was just texting Rod, and then there's a pause for 2 seconds, and then the phone goes,
yeah.
Because it just hangs up, and it's like, my favourite bit is where Lorne doesn't actually say anything. It's the silence that speaks volumes. It's so funny. Every time I hear that, it's hilarious because, and every now and again when you're listening to it, and you're drawn into what's going on, you almost forget that Lorne's talking to this robot. You know, like when he's he's being taken to the brink, like I've said, you're thinking, how is he not taking a step back? And he's so sucked in with it all. And then Will comes on the phone, and then this Will's talking to him.
I actually listened to it again today because I was playing Gran Turismo and wanted something to listen to in the background. And so, but I think I've got a new favourite bit, which is when he's talking to Will and he keeps going, he's a virgin. He's a virgin. That's right. He's a virgin.
Porn star, though.
No. Right. So from what I ascertain, and obviously I don't have my ear to the ground that much, but so basically there's two guys, Rod and Todd. Now, come on, Andy, like, oh, and that's a question I wanted to ask you, actually. Let's digress for a moment, sorry. Which other Simpsons characters would you like to see involved in the Lorne saga?
Well, secondary, not the Simpsons character, is it?
No, but who they use? Because I was thinking you could have like some old, because she's a cam model and porn star, I believe, and so this guy's offered her money to take his virginity. She's also got a thing for virgins, so she's excited about that. Or she's never been with a virgin before, and so she's looking forward to that. And he's offered her money. He's not a porn star, but he's offered her money to make a folk movie with her. So that's why this has all come about. But no, I just want to, like, I was thinking about it earlier, and I'd quite like a character called Hans Molman to pop up, who's like an OAP but really fancies her and offers her $100,000 to sleep with her. I wonder if he would get the reference then.
I don't think so. I don't think he watches The Simpsons. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the mark of like someone who is truly awful human being. If they don't even have any knowledge of The Simpsons.
Yeah, he has very specific shows he watches, doesn't he?
Yeah, like 3 of them. Like, Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
is it Two's Company or something?
Theory?
Oh God, does he watch that? Does he? I just can't stand shows with canned laughter, although saying that I make exceptions for certain shows with canned laughter. British comedies are fine, but although saying I hate things like Mrs. Brown's Boys as well anyway, but yeah.
Oh, you don't like Friends, do you?
Do you know what? Friends is not... No, listen. Friends is not a show that I would specifically change the channel for, but it's one of those things, like, I dated so many girls that loved it and made me sit and watch it over and over again. And so it's just kind of a comfort show, Friends. If there's nothing else on, I'll watch it. It's not as offensive as some... What I hate about like mainstream American comedies is being told when to laugh. It's like, if I need to be told when to laugh, that joke isn't going to be funny, is it? And that's what I dislike about The Big Bang Theory as well. They do a lot of jokes with long words that are meant to sound intelligent, but when you actually deconstruct those jokes, they're not very good at all. They just use long words, so it's meant to be funny.
Well, you've just hit the nail on the head at why Lorne probably likes it there, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's a show that makes people feel intelligent because they can laugh along with long word jokes, but it's not a show that's particularly funny. But then Lorne is not a funny person, except for, I don't know, because I've been listening to so many calls. There was one I heard the other day where he actually had quite a good comeback when he was talking, before they were together, he was talking to Jamie Amy, and she talks about a business model, getting loads of clients to fuck her or something, and he went, that's not a business model, that's an open door policy. I was like, that's actually quite witty.
That's pretty good for him, that.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only time I'll ever give him credit for anything.
See, there's a tiny little bit of intelligence peeping through. I've just fucking said something daft there, haven't I? No, but occasionally he does surprise you with it, like with something that he says like that, you know, because that is quite funny. That's quite witty. But anyway.
Of course, clobbering. Yeah, Lorne likes it because of the large-breasted blonde lady. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously, like, because normal men wouldn't like that, would they?
It's actually true. If that's Lorne's taste, that's one of his more normal things.
Yeah, what a dickhead. He should be interested in 13-year-old girls instead.
He's smarter than we think, Shin. He's so smart, it's going to make our heads spin. But let's... because we were kind of on a topic and then we digressed and I totally...
Yeah, we were talking about... We were talking about the golden age of Lornography.
Okay.
And the new calls, which of course they're ridiculously entertaining for different reasons than what I think the thing is with the Ramona stuff, it was the first time we'd heard him like crying in a scenario that he thought was real. We'd not, obviously, the phone calls were different and they were short, and we'd heard them all a million times. But that Lorne is a butthole, it seemed to contain everything. Like the bit where um, she goes, "You weren't going to sleep with the person that was there," and he just goes, "Oh," like you've never heard anything like that. It's like Lorne's brain broke. And the bit where she goes, "What patterns, Lorne?" He goes, "What? But oh no!" It's like the most pathetic, epic failures that you could imagine.
I can't remember, but I'll remember in a few weeks or something.
My memory's not that great. I can remember anything from 3 years ago.
Do you know one of my favourite lines in that call as well? And it's not even something he says. It's just because my mind's so warped and so full of sexual innuendo. But there's a bit in there where he's like complaining about his dad not being. I was raised, because that's the call, isn't it? I was raised by my mom, and he's crying about that. And he goes, and if you listen carefully, he goes, "I was raised by my mom and my dad a bit." It's like, what was and then he goes, "My dad wasn't even there to give me a butt." And the way he says it, I'm like, he's going to say blowjob, because that's the sort of fucked up family he's in. And then he sort of pauses and goes, "A loaf of bread." I was like, oh, come on.
Oh my God! You've just remember you. I think your favorite bit initially. I even remember you either calling me or messaging me specifically about it. Was the bit where he goes, "I am not a fucking sex offender."
Yeah, I'm not a sex offender. Well, I am, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to go near schools. Shin's just made a good point where he says, "I fucking love that son of a bitch." So you had Lorne within the first 30 minutes. His brain broke. He cried about his dad. He got himself all tied up in knots. He babbled on, "I'm not a sex offender." And then an hour later, we get a call with his mother. He talks, he cries about his dad. He rages. He's jealous. It's like all these emotions and different states, and "I fucking love you," blatant lying, jealousy, rage. It's just remarkable, absolutely remarkable that one human being can go through all this.
And I think with that first call as well, there was an element of like almost sort of spying through a keyhole into something you shouldn't really be hearing, if that makes sense. Like, it's like reality TV, but it's, well, real to him at least anyway, which makes it all the more entertaining. But it's like, it was that first sort of through the looking glass moment we had where it's like, okay, so this guy's not only been on To Catch a Predator, now he's a fucking... I don't know if you've heard this term, Andy. It's actually a subreddit I subscribe to called Nice Guys, which has now been sort of taken, like, if someone's a nice guy, if they're a self-proclaimed nice guy, then they never normally are. They're normally the sort of guys that message a woman, and if they don't get a response back, they're like, "Well, fuck you anyway, you're an ugly bitch. I'm a nice guy, you've missed out."
Yeah, or the guys that think that they're nice guys and therefore deserve women. And clearly, if a woman doesn't like him, it's because they're into bad boys.
Exactly. And Lorne was, I think, for me, the original nice guy. It's why I now subscribe to that subreddit, to see these fucked up people, because they're little bits like Lorne. Some of them reminds me of Lorne, but he's like that. Like, "I've done this for you, I've done that for you, I want something in, trot your ass up here," but it never happens.
I mean, we do have to question ourselves every now and again, as I continually repeat myself, but I can't stop, being continually entertained by the Lorne saga. I think it's because you can't quite... Put your phone on silent, dude.
I need to actually answer that. Can you maintain the chat for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Cheers.
You made me feel guilty now, because it was probably something really important.
Well, it's my dad, so I'll only be 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. I am not a sex offender. Listen, yeah, we could. Dude, do you want to? Sorry, dudes.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
dude.
that.
No, everybody heard all of that, you know.
Did they? I thought I muted my mic.
Including your dad talking as well.
Brilliant. Whoops, sorry guys.
Do you know when we said we get a peek? Do you know when we said we get a peek of Lorne's life because we can hear him talking to his mum? We just heard you talking to your dad.
Well, I definitely hit mute on the mic, but there we go.
Well, it didn't work, dude.
Right, well, I'm still learning how to do this. Apologies for that. Anyway, yes, I have to drive to... I'm a driver at night tonight, so I have to go and pick my dad up from Glasgow at midnight. Him and my uncle have been off doing Scottish train journeys for the last few days. But anyway, so back to Lorne. My face is bright red right now. I literally can feel my cheeks burning against my headphones. Whoops. Anyway.
It adds to the charm of the stream.
Yes. We're not professionals, just to remind you.
Really?
This will not be being released on Spotify, so I think we're all right.
What category would this come under as a Spotify?
Well, you know what? I put entertainment as the category on YouTube, and I felt that was a bit of a misdirection as well. There isn't a category.
Start suing us.
Yeah.
We want our fucking money back, even though we've not paid any. Give it us back.
There isn't a category for just two guys blowing smoke. But
I don't know. I reckon there's plenty of that. But no, do you know what was good about that Lorne is a butthole? You got to remember, at the time we didn't know what the catfishing was all about. We didn't know what the purpose of it was, what the scenario. You know, we knew nothing. It was quite clear when the Winnie stuff was going on. You know, Ember was just doing it for her own reasons, you know. It was like, and people were fine with it or they weren't, you know. But with the with this stuff, it was a bit of a mystery, and that was, and then it got a bit, you know, there was a bit of drama ensued, but there's no point going into that again. But
well, let's talk about something more recent, because I asked you before we started the stream, and you haven't seen the video. But you need to watch it after this stream, the latest video from Blue Boy, where Lorne... Right, and here's the thing, right, as well. He's not wearing a hat in this video. And for a second, when you first see it, if you didn't know who he was and what a fucking freak he is, you'd think, oh, that's just a kindly old granddad. And then he starts singing. You're like, oh, God, it's definitely Lorne. Fuck, stop singing, please. But then at the end... he busts out a fucking ring, a girlfriend ring to be his girlfriend, and he refers to it as a dinner ring. Now, I don't know much about jewelry, but you should see the size of this thing. Like, you could put a meal on it and eat off it or something. Like, how he expects this woman to wear this. It's like a fucking brick with a ring bit round it. Like, it looks...
I'm gonna have to watch that. Could you send me a link?
Yeah, it was just... Are you not subscribed to Blue Boy? You should be.
Oh, I mustn't have done. I feel a bit rude now because I have kind of watched this stuff, but I've just, for whatever reason, mustn't have pressed the subscribe button.
Admittedly, I subscribed about 3 hours ago, so don't feel too guilty.
Right, that's all right. Right.
But yeah, that's...
If you can find it, just send it.
I will. Omega Hair, but it looks like a bike tail light. It does, because it's like all reflective and it's so weird.
Right, so it's not very tasteful then, is what we're saying.
No, it's the worst taste. Like anyone who wore it, you wouldn't be able to notice it. You'd just be staring at the hand going, who the fuck thought it was... I mean, who designed that ring? Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, this isn't the first time that Lorne's wore a ring because he thought he was
oh no, this is to
engaged.
Give. This is to give to... Now, also, because I'm not completely clear on this, so people in the chat may be able to understand this, but I believe currently now, he's now concurrently dating both Jamie, Amy, and Casey.
That was the last I had heard, which is pretty remarkable because apparently he realised that the initial Casey stuff was false, and then I believe someone else had a bite. I might have got this wrong, but I believe this is the third incarnation of Casey. Which, if you think about it, just think about how many versions of Kayla there's actually been. he still can't get it. So we had like just go through them one by one, right? So we had the decoy was the person that first made contact with him. So we've got the initial character of Kayla, which is a fiction, obviously. Then you've got, I believe it was Southern. No, not it was Sherry Twist. Who was on the chat. Then you had Southern Aphrodite, who was on the phone calls.
Yeah.
So you've got two people. Then Casey Moreau at the house. Then another Casey. Then there's all the three different people in the photographs. So that's, hang on a minute, 1, 2, that's 5 people. Casey Moreau, that's 6. 7 is the Debbie character also played
Casey.
Kayla, that's Casey, that's, I'm into 8 now.
Wait, and see now it's confusing because Kayla was Casey and now, but there's been a lot of different people.
So, in other words, you could say that Kayla's been incarnated 8 times and he still hasn't fucking cottoned on. And he went in prison for 5 years.
Do you know, part of me still just thinks it's for the company and for the, like, I don't know, like, do you know, I had a friend say to me, this was a little while ago, I had a friend here that I used to work with when I worked at, like, the horrible call centre place, and name
that friend, Adam. Name that friend. I can't fucking name any.
Yeah, I can't remember. Ask me in 3 weeks and I'll remember his name. No, but and he like was talking about how him and his missus were always arguing, and I went, "That's not good." And he went, "No, I love it." And I was like, "I guess there's people out there that kind of enjoy it in some sadistic way." And I wonder
arguing with the missuses or Lorne listening to Lorne argue.
No, everyone loves listening to Lorne argue or we wouldn't be here. But, no, I mean, Lorne himself, it's a really hard thing to try and describe, but maybe he's taking some pleasure in those rages. Like, that's, I mean, obviously he doesn't have sort of common sense like most people. But
he still hasn't met Al Jazeera.
Like,
Al Jazeera, sorry.
Al Jazeera. Like, in the Rod call, and he's going, like, when he's trying to do an impression, not an impression of her, but like what she's thinking, and she's like, and he's like, oh, I've just got to message Rod because the guy I like's asleep or something, and it's like, well, if like, and he still keeps referring like from her perspective as him being the one he loves, but yet sort of saying all the like how horrible it is that she's speaking to Rod and talking to Rod, and whether he's seen his cock yet, and things like that, and it's like, if a woman treated me where I was at the point where I'm like, well, you talk to another guy more, you'd just walk away, wouldn't you? Or, I don't know, it's like his brain, I don't know about other aspects, but certainly in relationship aspects has not developed past those sort of early teenage years.
That's exactly what it is. We touched upon this question, didn't we?
Yeah. See, Shin's made a good point there as well. Yeah, exactly, to feel something, because I think to some people, feeling like rage or anger or hate is better than feeling nothing.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, about how... Have you ever... I think we must all have been there at some point in our lives where you feel that, whether you've just broke up with someone or you're finding yourself with no friends or you move to a new area and there's no one there, that feeling of loneliness that you can get can be horrible. Like crippling, and it's embedded in us that when you feel like that, it's meant to be one of the worst feelings you can imagine, because it's basically it's your system or your biological system telling you that you're close to death, because you're basically not part of a tribe, and we're still those hunter-gatherers. So I think if a human feels like that, it can conjure up any attempt to get away from that. And with Lorne, because he's not matured, that connection that he has and feeling that drama like a lot of other people do, the rage, why do you think he hangs up and then immediately answers the phone again?
Yeah, because it's a game to an extent.
It links into what we're saying. It's better. And it's why people are addicted to toxic relationships, because they're so terrified of being on their own that it's basically like dying.
Yeah.
So they will do. I mean, there's varying degrees of it. There are people that are in toxic relationships and have the courage to walk away. There's people that, dump a person if they're being wronged. But usually it's people, not always, but it's usually people that have got confidence in themselves, where they are comfortable in their own skin. They've got confidence, self-esteem, maybe a good support network. Lorne doesn't have any of that, does he? He's insecure.
I think Lorne shoots himself in the foot, because I would say that Roy is a very good brother to him, and yet he's so hypocritical towards Roy as well, like screaming at him for getting drunk and stuff. And it's like, and as far as I'm aware, Roy's not really done anything bad, and always, from what I ascertain, which isn't much, but is that Roy has his back. But I think Lorne just doesn't care. He would always put someone who's never met but he believes has a vagina above even his own brother. That's the sort of person he is.
Yeah, sure. He doesn't seem to he doesn't seem to commit any selfless acts at all, even towards his own brother and his mum. And it's not surprising at all that everybody is a tool to be used in Lorne's world.
It was uploaded the other day as well, because it was Mother's Day in America, and there's a call. I hadn't heard it before. Actually, I'd heard like the last hour, so I don't know if it had been split into parts or anything. But he's going, "You've ruined my Mother's Day." And then later on he goes, "I only got to spend 10 minutes with Mum because I was so upset." And it's like, what a fucking cunt. That's your mum. You should be spending all day with her, doing nice things for her. And, like, how has someone ruined your Mother's Day, Lorne? You're not a fucking mother. There's no Mother's Day for you. Like,
so basically, Mother's Day was a day for him to tell other people how good a son he is. So it's basically virtue signalling day for Lorne, isn't it?
Yes. He says it about 4 times, like, "You ruined my Mother's Day." Like, it's like such a bad thing. It's like me saying, like, someone argues with me on your birthday and me going, "Well, that's it, you've ruined Andy's birthday for me now." Like, it just makes, like, he doesn't have the ability to see outside of that. And, if he was the sort of person that would have gone and spent the day with his mum and gone, and because I think the person who he's speaking to in that call as well says, "Well, I didn't call you because I thought you'd be spending the day with your mum." And it's like, well, yeah, he should have done. If he's if he truly believes in Mother's Day, then spend it with your mother. Cook her something, like make her some fucking porkless bites.
Dan Jones has just reminded us, maybe not you because you didn't read it, but there's some absolute stonkers of lines of dialogue, if you can call it that, in Lorne's book. And there's one bit where I believe the main character says, "If it wasn't for mothers, this world would be an awful place to live."
That sounds like it could be ripped straight from The Room.
Yeah, it literally is written by, I think it's the main character in Lorne's book, which is obviously Lorne. And it really sums up Lorne's very simplistic, idealistic view of the world. And ironically, as much as he prattles on about his mum, he treats his mum like shit.
Yeah.
Like, what we've just highlighted about Mother's Day is really about him. It's this narcissistic behaviour. I know that.
Do you think he goes to bed the night before Mother's Day all excited, go, "Oh, I can't wait to see what my mum's got for me this Mother's Day"?
I can't wait to hear how good a son she tells me I am. Anyway, should we... I
just wanted to say 2 things. Hi, Terry, and also Shin just made a point, like he's never suffered the consequences of his own laziness. And I was thinking about this, like every time anyone, like he screams and rages at people all the time, but any time the tables are turned, he just starts crying. And I was wondering if he goes to work and like gets a bollocking at his job for doing something wrong, which I think happened. Does he break down in tears like all the time? Like, does he just start crying whenever he's confronted by anyone on anything? Because it seems to be his sort of go-to emotion if things get too difficult. He's like, "Oh, well, I'll just cry and people will feel sorry for me." Again, showing how his brain's not developed past childhood in some respects. And I wonder if those tears are just for his catfish, or if that's something that happens all the time in his life.
Well, didn't he cry when he was talking to Will on that Rod call?
Yes, sort of, but it wasn't too... No, he definitely cried. He cried with Dan. He did definitely cry with Dan, but I can't remember what call or what that
And
happened.
he cried in the police station as well when he was getting interviewed.
So does he just cry? You know, imagine that in real life, like he's in like McDonald's and the McRibs
Run out of Happy
just end,
Meals,
yeah, and he starts like crying. Is you know,
because they've
or
no toys.
he forgot to record Little House on the Prairie, so he's crying and screaming. Like I, I don't. It's just so strange. Like I don't think I've ever seen a grown man that cries as often as he does.
It is
In fact, I don't think
funny.
I've seen a child that cries as often as he does.
But I think there is obviously this. He's definitely a child.
Yeah.
There's definitely some kind of emotional lack of growth, however you want to put that. It's the only explanation to his craziness. You know, that's why I always don't tend to hate on him as much as others. I think there's something wrong there. I know people have their own theories about that. He makes his own decisions, etc. I don't want to get into that, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, there's always been something in my mind that says something went fucking wrong there with Lorne. I mean, obviously something went wrong, but I don't. You get where I'm coming from, don't you?
Yeah, but it's okay. And I might be touching on kind of controversial ground here. I think personally, and maybe I'm showing my age, and although Lorne's 10 years older than me, but I think people are very easily mollycoddled these days, and it's very easy to say, oh, well, I can act like a twat because I'm on the spectrum. I told you that story recently about a friend I made for 4 days.
Friend, yeah.
Yeah, and then we fell out because...
Well, Lorne doesn't claim to be, does he?
No, exactly. So therefore, if he thinks he's so smart, then like it's his own fault. I don't think you need to feel sorry for him or anything like that at all.
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel sympathy for him. I'm just saying that I think there's a reason that he's in the position he is. I remember reading some comment by some comment. It was in a book by some famous spiritual writer that said, if a cabbage, comparing Lorne to a cabbage, if a cabbage grows badly, you don't blame the cabbage, you blame the fertilizer, the soil, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It was worded a bit more eloquent than I've just said it, but you get the point.
Yeah.
That's the
sort of you're saying it's Mama Gwen's fault.
Well, no, I mean, you know, she we've gone over this before, but she was raising a lot of kids pretty much on her own. He didn't have any strong male role models that seemed to like him very much. His dad walked out on him. There's questions about what his brothers and sisters did to him.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, he did go around munkling all over his sister's legs, so...
should we move on to what people seem to think is a bit of a Lorne clone?
Oh, Joran.
Yeah. Because we never really. I mean, Clobbering Time and Shin in the chat are the exception, but we never really. We never really got into that, did we?
No. Well, the thing is, I didn't know there was actually so much about Joran. Recently, I found out a lot more because I think in one of the messages that Kennedy sent to Wes, which we'll come back to later, but it's me
I
like
bet you fucking will.
It's me like saying, oh, I don't think he's a pedo, but I didn't realize like there was so much evidence towards it. There's like literally interviews where he's saying that he's been talking to high school girls and stuff. You know, and I think it's assumed that because he was liking pictures of little kids wearing genie outfits that he must have been pleasuring himself to those pictures. I mean, you can't prove that. I don't know, but
I don't know anything.
I think maybe I felt kind of sympathetic without knowing all the details towards him. However, like the thing with Joran is he was sort of there and gone. For me, he'll never have the appeal of Lorne because there's so much, even without the new content, you've always got like the Holy Lornography and the original Sting video to look back on and everything. But with I don't really get, and there's people, I was speaking to Heisenberg White the other night, and he was saying he's got no interest in Lorne anymore, just Joran. I was like, it's weird that this subculture of Lorne has now created a subculture based around someone else, and some people have even like split off from the Lorne group completely and said, right, no, I just want to talk about this guy.
Well, that seems to be people who are just looking for a specific internet rabbit hole, and then this is the next one. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that because obviously I'm still involved in the Lorne one. But occasionally there's been little things that that I see or think about, and I think, oh no, I understand why Joran people get it, and then immediately when I look at it, I'm bored straight away. I'm not interested. I don't find him. There's something quite unique about Lorne, something rather remarkable in a anti-remarkable way. Like The Room is an anti-movie. Lorne is an anti-character.
An
It's
anti-human.
bizarre. Yeah, it's something that I've never quite been able to put my finger on. I think that there's only Lorne in the world that could have been in his situation and got manipulated so easily and said the things that he did in the chat lot and made us laugh so much. And his catchphrases, his mannerisms, the humor, the crying, you could go on and on. He's crazy. His books that he writes, his crazy shitty music. You could go on and on and on. And Joran.
Well, Joran, there's a lot of similarities there, though. Joran had a music channel where he wrote and performed shitty music.
I know, but I just don't find him interesting. He just comes across like a pitiful loser to me. Of course, you could describe that with Lorne.
Well, I think part of the problem with Joran is he was quite arrogant in calling his channel Jorrun Comedy when he wasn't funny at all. Like, you must have seen the stand-up thing he did, the Lorne roast.
It was pretty. I was struggling to believe that was genuine. It's like he did it was like, but the thing is, it wasn't. Maybe it's just preference because we love The Room. We love The Room because it's so bad that it's good. But Tommy Wiseau there's something charming about his character. I can't explain what it is, but he's got like an innocence about him, and
he's embraced that the film was awful now.
Yes,
that was never his intention, but he's embraced it and rolled with it, and you got to respect that.
Worked for him, yeah. And if I met him, I would get the same level of enjoyment out of that than meeting some A-lister like, I was going to say Tom Cruise then, but I don't even like him. He's just the first guy that popped into my head. Somebody like, I don't know, who do I like? Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. Because, what if I tell you that Lorne is better than... but with Joran, it's like, you watch his stand-up, there's nothing appealing about it, even though it's terrible.
It's not funny whatsoever.
No, do you remember when we did that project on your channel, Like Our Usual projects, lasted 2 weeks when we watched terrible movies?
Gave up. Yeah. And that we finished because we found the movie. Don't you remember? We watched 2. We watched because we were searching.
No, stop trying to gloss over it. It was because we fucking couldn't be arsed. Stop trying to say that.
If you can find me a movie worse than Ben and Arthur, I will take it all back and we'll start the series again. But there is no movie in. At least The Room had charm. Ben and Arthur was the most god-awful piece of crap I've ever seen. And yeah, it was watchable in the fact it was like staring at a car crash. But
but you wouldn't watch it again, would you?
No, absolutely
But with
not.
The Room, it's. I would watch that as many times as I watch Star Wars. There's I cannot tell you how much I love that fucking movie. And I'm trying to make the comparison with Joran. With Lorne, I can go watch Joran, whatever you want to call it. With Lorne, I can keep watching and watching and watching. With Joran, I just don't. I can't. It doesn't grab hold of me. Basically, I mean, it's not to demean anybody that likes it. Of course, we're just saying what our preferences are. I just don't get it.
See, the thing, and I might be wrong, I don't think anyone's still in contact with Joran or anything. I know, after he was sort of...
Oh, I think Wes probably is.
Well, after he was banished from YouTube, he was then, he made another channel and stuff. Yes, and see, Shin's just mentioned that bit where he name-checks you in his roast, Andy, and that's a horrible joke as well, because it was around the time when that call came out that Ember's sort of dissing you to Lorne, and Lorne's like, Andrew Burkett, and he sort of says it in like a French way, like it's spelt like Birquette. And then Joran does this joke about it, but he just shouts, oh, since Lorne talked about Andrew Burkett, Andrew's got a new name, Andy Birdcat. And it's like, well, Lorne didn't say that at all. What the fuck are you talking about, you freak? Also, I would say, right, weird question. Um, who would you, if you didn't know either of their histories, who would you rather meet down a dark alley, Lorne or Joran? Because I would say, like, physically, Joran was more scary looking. He looked like sort of a Bond villain or something. Like, Blofeld, the old Blofeld, not the new one.
Yeah, he kind of looks like somebody who might do something unexpected, Joran. You know, like he's got a like serial killer look to him. Whereas Lorne just looks like a goof.
Yeah, and also I think Joran's like really tall, whereas Lorne's like really short. So I think if I had to choose one to fight, it would definitely be Lorne. They're both small persons, Shin says. So wait, Shin, you've met Andy, and Andy's slightly smaller than me. So how would that make it?
Well, I'm 5'8", and Lorne is 5'7", I believe.
Really? Oh, yeah.
So he's not tiny.
Yeah.
He's just slightly below average height.
That's it. Joran has a Dr. Evil vibe. Yes, he looks like Mike Myers as Dr. Evil.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
$1 million.
No, what I will say about, there's a music video that Joran did. Oh, what's the fucking... Shin will know what it's called. It's quite remarkable, I must admit. It's the only thing he's done that catches my attention, where I've watched it a few times. And the song... it's so bad, you can't help but continually watch it.
Wait, what song's this?
Oh, what's it fucking... Shin, help me out here, dude. It's on the channel that Wes put out about Joran. I'll be able to find it, and it's like... There's a bit in it says, I want to give you my time. I would give you my last time. It's like, oh, he wrote that? And I'm listening to it, I'm thinking... That can't be a serious song. It's got to be a piss take. And I was thinking, he knows his shit and he's playing on it. Steer Music, that's right. Can you remember the name of the song, Shin? Because that's just the channel name. That Steer Music.
Right.
All I want to do is love you. That's it. He's fucking you clobber.
What? And this is a song he wrote himself.
Well, it's some kind of poetry or something. Right. I think, as I understand it, this is what someone said. Somebody gave him some kind of poetry, and he put music to it. Although the melody, people might think I'm insane for saying this, the melody isn't badly constructed. It's just the actual construction and the harmonies are fucking abysmal, and the lyrics are room-esque in their ridiculousness. It's like, you've got to listen to it, dude.
Right.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing he's done that actually captivates me in any way, because I remember when he was on our stream, right? And was it my channel? When
this was right. I was like, it seems a lifetime ago now, but because I was still back in Spain when because this was the. Wait, no, was I? Because Joran came around in 2020, and I would have been back here looking after my mum in 2020. So.
Yeah, because you don't remember there was that Lorne thing we did on Eisenberg's channel, you were pissed as a fart, and it was around about that time.
Oh, that was the charity stream thing, wasn't it? Yeah, I was really, really drunk that night.
Yeah.
But no, but we did it. I think maybe it was the year. Maybe Joran wasn't there. I'm thinking of Lorne the year before, where we streamed on my channel from Spain, and we had Kennedy on, and everyone fucked off and left me there, and it was quite annoying. But
and then and that's where it all started. You're going to blame the community for your sexual mishap.
Well, let's stay on top of Joran for a minute, and then we'll move on to Kennedy.
Again.
But you know, I just like, I don't know, like, I think with Lorne, you've got so much material. Obviously, there must be an appeal to Joran. And some of the things that I was listening the other day to, like, a chat log reading, which I believe was one of Joran's scenarios that he created and got someone from the community to read out with him or whatever. And I was listening, it was a Kelp Pill stream, and I was listening to it, and I was like, I thought it was an old recording. And I was like, fucking hell, Joran sounds just like Joey. I never realised that. And then I realised it was Joey reading Joran's part, which was quite confusing. Yes, Clobber, you're right. Yeah, Andy's channel in 2020. Because I mean, that whole sort of That was when I was.
That was piss funny. That was that when fucking Shin dropped me in it with Kennedy, where she kept wanting to come on and I was just trying to ignore her. And then Shin just dropped me in it and went, Kennedy wants to come in the chat. I'm like, yeah, thanks, dude. And then she came in and she was like, hey,
hi,
hey.
I'm from the South.
Yeah, that's right.
He was between 100 and 200 pounds. But yeah, no. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to sit down with a Jorranographer and they can explain to me the appeal. I'd be quite willing to do that. Show me the good Joran stuff that I'm missing out
on. I remember when he was in the stream with us, when I got him in, just because we kind of had to do it out of obligation, he made this kind of video, a parody of me and Shin. And then we kind of felt obligated. And I remember when he was on it, he's such like, I don't like saying unkind necessarily things about people that have done me no harm, but sorry, dude, if you're listening, but you're just going to have to work on yourself. But he came across as just so dull. I was like, oh, God, like 2 minutes of listening to him talk. And I was like, I'm quitting YouTube. Like, just fucking, you know what I mean? Just delete everything. It was so boring. And I just remember thinking, I don't want anything to do with him ever again. I don't want to listen to his bullshit. I'm not interested. And I think maybe that tainted it for me, or I was just like, I don't get it.
Well, I think
because with Lorne, carry on. With Lorne, every sentence he utters is entertaining. There's something about that guy. Like I would.
I would disagree. I would disagree. If you listen to the calls where he's talking about fucking, what is it? It's not dry stone walling, but it's the equivalent. That is not entertaining.
Yeah, but that's only because you've heard him rage, and nothing's more entertaining than that. You're never going to get a human being in the world that piques your interest all the time. But like, if you think about all of the stuff, all of the material that we've had about him, and the percentage of stuff which you don't find entertaining at all, that's pretty good going. That, do you get what I'm saying? You expect a comedian to be on for that amount of time.
I think this is kind of why he dug his own grave to an extent, because the impression I get is he had very little knowledge of Lorne coming into the community. He kind of felt like, I'd never seen anything like it. It was very strange. Like, he was kind of accepted by everyone really quickly. And there was no let's say like yourself or someone like Isaiah T-Cap or someone like that, where I've discovered their video and gone, this guy's got an interesting take on it and I want to listen to it. Joran didn't have that. He just kind of came into the community and he did these things that were not normal, like using community members to talk about weird scenarios of him and a genie and stuff. And so it does seem, to play devil's advocate a little bit here, that he kind of just saw a community that he could come in and manipulate people to his advantage. I don't think he really personally had that much interest in Lorne himself. I think he was more just here trying to...
Yeah. He never got it with Lorne, did he? He never saw the humour that we did, or the intrigue, did he?
No, exactly. And I think, everyone else that I subscribe to or something, they've sort of made themselves on their own, and then people collaborate with them and stuff, whereas John seemed to come in and just start collaborating, and not just with, little people, but, with people who are well-respected members of the community, I guess. Or, little people sound... I don't mean, midgets or anything, but, what
the fuck are you going on about, dude?
I don't know. But I think...
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the generosity of people in the community. Like, somebody came in, people were willing to give him a go, and then he turned into a bit of a pervert. And I haven't seen the evidence that you talked about with regard to the children thing. At the time, I don't have all the available facts, but it seemed to be going overboard with what people were saying about him. But maybe
we didn't know. That's the thing. Unless you know the full intricacies of everything, you can't really make a fair assessment. Well,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just the information they had at the time. It was like, I don't know. It just didn't. He said. Like I said, maybe we didn't get the full story. It just seemed to me like all they did was say a few things in comments to people and like a photo here and there, but maybe there was a few things that I was missing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Clobber's very kindly offered to take me on a Joran journey, so that should be interesting. Show me the light of Joran, so that should be interesting.
Do you know it'd be funny if you rename this channel in a couple of weeks the Light of Joran, the Revenge or something, you know what I mean? And like, oh, Adam's been turned, he's now a Joranographer, say that word.
Jorrunographer, yeah. Well, do you know what I was thinking today? Because, like, for some reason during lockdown, I got really into spoonerisms, and so I was like, "Why isn't it?"
What the fuck are you on about, dude?
Spoonerisms. Okay, so it's like when you take the two words and you switch the first letters. So I was like, I really want someone to make a channel called Jorrun Comedy. But yeah, that's a spoonerism. For example, you cucking funt.
Right.
So yeah, I do that with words all the time. It's one of those weird habits I picked up while living in isolation for so long. So if I see two words together, I always switch the first letters to see if it sounds funny or not. It's just a weird foible. But yeah, there's a name for it, spoonerisms. So there you go.
I am gonna watch that fucking. Now that we've talked about it, I am gonna watch that music video.
There is Clobber. Sorry, I didn't know that. Yeah, sorry. Go on, Andy. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I'm gonna watch that music video again. Are you referring to? Are you referring to Clobber's last comment about the Jorrun Comedy channel?
Jorrun
Comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, I guess I suppose, and this actually is quite a nice segue into our next segment, because if Joran is to the modern day TCAP community what Lorne was to the Sting, what does that make Kennedy?
Just make that sort of comparison again. If Lorne is,
if Joran is Lorne using the community to his own sexual advantages, so Joran's Lorne. Okay, Joran's the modern day Lorne.
Okay.
Which predator would Kennedy have been, or person?
Well, the comparison that you made is Jean-Pierre Wary, I think, which is spot on, because the crazy stories that she invents. Get rid of that echo.
Sorry, it's my headphones came out the socket. Oh, hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on. It's really it has to be just right, or that happens.
Is that what she said? Is that what Kennedy said?
I made the comparison of Jean-Pierre Weary because Kennedy talks absolute crap, and so does he. Like, I think that's a nice.
You know what's disappointing about? Sorry to interrupt, dude. I seem to be having a habit of interruptions tonight. Sorry, Shin. I'm disappointed because with Kennedy, I really believe that she was just a harmless kind of
simpleton.
Well, what was the word I used to do? Like a harmless. I don't know. It's a simpleton. It sounds a little bit too. I suppose we can take the piss out of her a little bit after what she did to you, but yeah. I used to just think she was a harmless, sort of naive kind of. I can't remember how. You get what I'm saying. But there was like some maliciousness in what she did to you, and it pissed me off.
Absolutely. Like the thing is as well, I was thinking about the stream I did with Clobber and Wes and the Lorne Identity and Honest, and I actually said at the end, to be fair, like that I would give her a second chance if she made an apology and like took ownership of it. And I was like, why did I say that? That's not true at all. Like what she did was really vindictive. I wouldn't speak to her again. I think I meant,
if she made a full and frank admission,
yeah,
I think you're a good enough spirit that you give someone a chance.
Oh yeah, of course. I wouldn't. I mean, it'd give me a brilliant excuse never to stream with her again. But I wouldn't.
Well, that'd be a shame.
I wouldn't actively try and take her down or anything. If she made an apology and ownership, the trouble is, I think she would invite too much. Even not from me, but other people. Maybe I'm thinking people like me too much. But like, I think it's after what she did, because if you actually think about it, it's really quite dark, like
sinister.
Yeah,
really sinister.
And so I think if she came back, she would have a very hard time winning people back over again, and she would never know.
She never would.
Yeah,
she never would.
And I think the only people that would enjoy her streams or be complimentary would be doing it to get her to continue, and so that we can
Jorrun,
exactly, so that we can milk the lol cow some more. But I was like, and actually to come back to that video that Wes did in the stream that Clobber and I did as well, there was a bit I didn't even notice when we were streaming and talking about it. I was thinking she's actually got, now I hope Kennedy would never actually murder people. I'd like to think she's not that bad a human, but she's got elements of Jodi Arias, because when she's talking to Wes about me, she then says, "Oh, I'm into black guys," and it's like, oh, she'll just say she's into whoever she's talking to try and gain favor. And that reminded me of, the very first Jodi Arias interview, but when she's like talking to the one where she's singing Dido and doing handstands and shit. And there's one part in that where she almost tries to charm the policeman, like she thinks, oh, I can get him to fall in love with me and then everything will be fine and he'll do what I say. And I thought that's, I think Kennedy will just say whatever to whoever she's with, although it doesn't work because most people, except for me, seem to have some integrity. But she'll just say whatever to gain favor with people. But, well, Shin, yeah, I mean, he did help me out with this, but he didn't sniff it out. She went to Wes with this with this false information. The trouble is, in fact, while I'll give you guys some more information while you're here, in fact, Clobber's seen these screenshots, so I won't post them, but I'll read them out.
Is this what Kennedy said?
Yeah, so, but when she went to Wes, sent him, the thing I said about Joran, not thinking Joran was a pedo, and the thing I said about waking up at the crack of dawn, which was a badly massacred joke, but it was one I had pulled straight from The Office. But that was the most incriminating evidence she had on me. And when she sent it, you could even see in the text she sent that there's no oh, I'm uncomfortable with you saying this, leave me alone. It's all both ways. And so, it was just incredibly manipulative and vindictive, because she's then going off and going, oh, well, I'm married, he shouldn't be doing this. I'm pregnant and married, he shouldn't be doing this, right? And so I got these screenshots just because I wanted to... some of these are hard to look at, because I have to admit, to use your turn of phrase, Andy, because this all happened, this was I've just broken up, a couple of weeks before, broken up with my girlfriend. My mum had just passed away, and I was kind of, I guess, looking for a relationship.
It's fair to say at that point, Adam, you're in a difficult spot. You're in one of them periods in your life where, I'm sorry to use the overused word, but you are vulnerable in effect, aren't you?
Yeah, but the thing is, I was looking for a relationship. I look back now, and I think because there was someone else actually from the TCAP community who got in touch with me at the time that I was a little bit of a nice guy towards when I found out she had a boyfriend. But I was quite pissed off because I kind of thought, oh, she's a pretty girl. She lives in Scotland. This could be a thing. And then when I found that out, I was really hurt and probably didn't deal with that in a particularly good way. But with the Kennedy thing as well, so even seeing our texts to each other, they're quite romantic. So it's really hard to go back and read and be like, well, I was being so nice to her. Now, maybe I did imply there could be a relationship down the road, and maybe that had more of an effect because that was never really what I thought than it did. I don't know.
But how many men do you think do that?
Yeah,
really?
Exactly.
Every man has done that at some point in their life. Everybody.
Yeah. So I'm looking for one particular text here.
Oh, she's just texting.
No, sorry, I'm just turning that down. That's just someone from my racing group. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so she was trying to paint me as someone that's chasing married women. So this is because I'm not going back into the actual chat. I'm just looking at the screenshots I took. And I'm not sure what was said previously, but I say, dude, I'll tell him, or even better, show him. I think she had said something like, oh, my husband doesn't make me feel attractive, or something like that. And then she replies, lol, well, considering I have an open marriage now... Oh, okay, this is about dick pics, actually. So I even asked permission to send a dick pic. So, she says...
but you asked me for permission, and I said no.
Well, but it's better when it's a surprise.
And then I gave in.
Yeah, well, they all do eventually. But yeah, and then she says, "Oh, well, considering I have an open marriage," I say, "Oh, that's good to know." And then I say, "Oh, well, I'm pretty drunk, but in that case, I'll show you something. I wouldn't normally do this sort of thing." And she says, "Oh, yeah, I'd like that." Like, and then what? A year down the line, she decides that she wants to paint me as a predator and honestly, I think everyone said like the only motive could possibly have been her own like clout, like trying to get a few more subscribers to her channel. Like she's really, and that's the thing, Andy. I know we kind of took the piss, but I did think she was a mate.
Well, we both spoke to her a little bit, didn't we? I remember she used to message me randomly out of the blue every now and again, and I'd always keep the conversation short because I couldn't be asked talking to her. But she even messaged me when I was in the States and said, "Do you fancy hanging out?" I said, "Well, I would do, Kennedy, but you're 20,000 miles away, mate. I'm on the other side of fucking, completely the other side of the country." And you know what? I remember looking at her in videos and thinking she's a bit tidy. I probably never mind, but I'd probably thought the same
well, that
as
was
you
my
do.
thought process. Yeah, so like
but the thing is, it was. I was a bit like when I found out, because I used to, me and certain other people, when she released a new stream, we would it was like a major event, like a new Star Wars trailer had dropped. It's like, what, Kennedy's done a video, and we used to listen to it because it was so room-like entertaining. It was unbelievable. And like I said, I always thought she was just harmless.
Yeah.
Little bit egotistical, but come totally harmless.
I mean, but to attempt something so dark for
why do you think she did it, and where did it? There
might
be something I'm missing here. How did it start? What prompted her to do this?
Right, I'm going to come back to this, which I've mentioned like a bunch of times before, but the only possible thing I can think that was a catalyst for this, and it's going to sound pretty fucked up, but probably with it being Kennedy not that far out, is she sent me, like, I didn't comment on them on her page or anything. She sent to my Facebook messages pictures of her kid. So I sent a message back.
Don't lie where this is going.
So I sent a message back saying, "Oh,
I'm sure she didn't mean to send them to me."
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, she definitely. I told her, don't send them to Andy. That'd be that's an accident waiting to happen. Well, a happy accident for him. But anyway, no, and I just said, "Oh, how cute," or something, and I don't know. That's the only possible thing I can think, because the weird thing is, this whole like tryst between us happened months before, maybe even a year before. That then she decided to manipulate the situation. Clobber's saying like it was a clout move. She saw what happened to Joran and thought she was untouchable, but I mean, that's why I use the word simpleton though as well, because she must understand that I have the other half of that conversation. And
but I think she's a little bit like Lorne in her logic doesn't seem to. This is a person who had 60 subscribers and thought she could sell merch.
Yeah,
you're not dealing with someone who thinks logically about anything.
She thinks when she goes out of her house, she's going to get mobbed by her subscribers. I mean, she was living in a bit of a dream world. But, some people do that. But all of that's harmless. I guess what Clobberin's saying makes sense. She thought I was probably never coming back. No one would hear about it. It would get, if she can expose IREX scammers, then it's going to be her biggest video, isn't it? In theory. That's very egotistical and arrogant of me to say, but it probably would be. So she probably thought, you
arrogant bastard.
She probably thought I was gone for good. I'd given up on YouTube because I hadn't streamed in ages, and thought like she would get away with it without anyone verifying anything.
Can I play devil's advocate a little bit? And maybe this is me clinging to her not being as malicious as I thought.
You munkle onto her as much as you need.
I was planning on doing that. Do you not think that because she thought that you were gone, biggest video, 15 views, 16, I'm watching it again now. What was I saying then? Do you not think that she thought because you were gone it wouldn't have done you any harm?
Yes.
Do you think Do you think that she thought it was like a victimless crime?
I think that's the point Clobber's trying to make as well. She thought, no, I wouldn't know about it, no one would hear about it, and that'd be that.
No, but from what Clobber says there, I'm implying that what he means is she didn't think she'd get caught.
Yeah.
Because you asked the question as how did you think she could get away with it? But I'm wondering if she didn't think it would cause you any harm because you weren't around. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
I would say though, whether or not I'm still on YouTube or not, if people were making videos about me being a predator of pregnant married women, I would definitely come across them at some point, and definitely, like, she must know that people in the community still contact me from time to time anyway. Someone would have come across it and Skyped me. It would have never gone completely unnoticed.
You're right. It's very, very... It's really disappointing, I must say. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit to think that she would do something like that. Considering you didn't do anything wrong, right?
No.
If anything, she's the one. She was the married one who probably lied about being in an open marriage or not. We don't know. And I remember reading those messages that you exchanged, and one thing that really pissed me off was how you said to her, I don't think you should be getting involved in this. You should be concentrating on being a good mother. And then she said, how fucking dare you bring my child into it? She brought a child into it before he was even born. Yeah. She was like babbling on saying that Joran was after her unborn child.
Well, and by that note, does it not make sense that she sent me pictures of her kid? I went, oh, cute. And she went, fucking pedo. That's the only thought process I can think that could have led to her unless she's that stupid and she thought there was going to be no harm done to anyone.
Well, if you think about her reaction to Joran, because the two of them are intrinsically linked, really.
Yeah, and forever will be.
Yeah, she milked that situation. Like, she did streams about him, and because she appeared with him in a stream that they did together, and then it turned out he was a questionable character, she jumped all over it and manipulated it. Well, not necessarily. Well, yeah, she did manipulate it, and it was so cringeworthy to listen to. And it's like she did get attention. I think it's been mentioned here by Clobber and Shin, is that we all know she's an attention hound. Only somebody who gets 15 views on YouTube will continually make videos, thinking that it's and I think that she's jumped on the kind of Me Too thing and thought, oh, here we go. I can make a name of myself. I can get all this attention and play the victim. She obviously loved playing the victim. And it's like, but what is difficult to accept about that is, where did she come to this? Did she genuinely convince herself that you were a bad person, or was she totally bullshitting away?
Well, if she thought that, though, would you sit on that for a year and then come forward with it? No, you would go.
No, but she could have decided all of a sudden, a little bit like how Lorne convinces himself of his own bullshit. She could have done the same.
Yeah, no, and
it meant something to her.
If you lie to yourself enough, you'll start to believe it eventually. Yeah, that happens to people. But I personally don't think that was the case, because she would have seen, when she was getting the screenshots to send to Wes, she would have seen that it was, even...
Why did you think that Wes would buy it then?
Because Wes had been making loads of videos on Joran, on News Talks. It's all very... Like, I enjoy his videos, but they're very gossipy, drama-esque videos.
That's the market he buys into, isn't it? It's the drama.
Exactly. So she goes
He's like the Colossal of the fucking teacup world, isn't it?
Who's Colossal? What, from...
Not Colossal. He was that fucking... Not Colossal. He was the guy.
Keemstar.
He's the Keemstar of Teacup, isn't it?
Yes.
It's very entertaining. It's engaging.
Well, I would like to say Wes has more integrity than Keemstar, I think. But
no, but you get what I mean, though, don't you?
Yeah. No, but she would have gone back and seen these messages and seen two-way, and even in the text that are shown at the end of the video I posted, she says, yes, it was a consensual thing. So she, even after she'd gone to Wes, she's still saying to me, yeah, absolutely no, it's consensual. So,
what?
Yeah. Did you not see that at the very end of the video? So there's the long message I sent to her, like really long, saying like, "Why are you doing this? This isn't really fair. You know, I'm going through a lot of shit. Blah blah blah." And then I said, everything we did was consensual. Why are you trying to make it look like it's not? And then she replied saying, yes, everything we did was consensual. I don't know why everyone's got it in for me at the moment. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't think she can have possibly convinced herself that I really did it when she's still admitting after the fact that it was a consensual exchange. Hi, Benfica.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't know what to make of that now. But I mean, it's
no. Well, that makes it even worse.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you know, because there's that old phrase, isn't there? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. But I hadn't scorned her in any way that I'm aware of.
My theory was, it's not really a theory. The evidence is there. She's obviously, make your own conclusions about open marriages and not. From my opinion, for what it's fucking worth, what's the point of marrying someone if it's going to be open? You know, you kind of dissing your vows straight away, aren't you? It seems a bit strange. But if you want to live that way, you're not hurting anybody. If it's all consensual, more power to you. That's fine.
Yeah.
But she's the one that's just had a kid. You know, she's in this marriage which clearly isn't making her happy. If it is, it's questionable. She has delusions of grandeur. She clearly seems a bit isolated. She's got issues, you know. It's a shame for her. If she didn't do this, if she didn't gone down this sinister path, you'd have sympathy. It's why everybody had a bit of time for her and said, right, reluctantly, you can come on a stream with us, but you know, we'll humour you to a degree. And then she pulls a stunt like this, and she's really fucked herself over there, really, because the thing is about this community is, you know, you can make content, and there'll always be people that'll support you, and pay attention to you and talk to you, and that's and she's lost that now, and she's done it for being a I don't like saying this word, but she's done it by being a cunt, basically, you know.
Yeah, I think in this instance that word is allowed. I use it regularly, but just about anyone. But no, I've got like 3 different ideas why she was motivated to do this. But I need to say, brown-eyed pig culls, Chatterbait Billy. I hope that's helped. I don't know. As long he asked me to say his whole name, but I don't know if I've said it right. No, the only other thing is, and Benfica's just alluded to it, and so did Shin in Clobber's stream as well, is perhaps, and again, a little bit of ego and arrogance showing through. Perhaps she liked me more than she let on, and my sort of nonchalant behaviour. My sort of nonchalant behaviour maybe led to it. Maybe, you know, she was thinking.
Well, you can be quite charming, Adam. I mean, there were times when you were asleep in Barcelona where you just used to stand over your bed and with a condom and a whole world of possibilities.
But no, and that's one of my theories. The other theory is that she wasn't in an open relationship. Somehow her husband got wind of it, and she thought she'd do this to try and cover her back.
Thought that's something that I thought about. You know, maybe this open marriage thing was just bullshit, and something went wrong. And the problem is with what she did as well. You know, claiming to be the victim. You know, the Me Too thing and all that. There's a lot of women out there that that never really have the courage to speak up. And when people come along like Kennedy, who make up bullshit, and there's a lot of people like that, it discredits real victims.
Absolutely.
So you're discrediting them as well, and it's really, and there's nothing I hate more than women who jump on the Me Too bandwagon for attention. It fucking infuriates me, and that's what she did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, she's discredit. I mean, the thing is, if there's ever a case like this put forward to someone or something else, like, then it needs to be looked at from all sides, which it was. And thankfully, you know, the thing, I don't think even with what she had sent to Wes, if he had been that inclined to make a video about me, there wasn't really much that was incriminating there other than my dick. And the thing is, as I say, like, I've still got the messages here where she was fine about that, and I've still got the photos that were sent prior to that and after that. So I just don't. I just honestly, it's very manipulative, and I figure I should be more angry about it. But it's like you say, like I actually.
Well, nobody gives her any credit, do they? Because you're not dealing with somebody like if she was somebody with a bigger voice or somebody with more respect, you would be more pissed off. But she's kind of a harmless shithead, really, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but I would not say harmless.
No, I don't mean harmless in the fact that because she's made. What I mean is, right, if she'd have made these allegations and was more credible and more intelligent, it could have caused you a problem. But because of a lack of intelligence and credibility, etc., it's not real. It didn't take people long to figure it out, did it? She kind of her own stupidity was her undoing. You know, it's so.
Well, here's the thing, though. It took like 3 months for me to confront her about it, but I knew what had happened. So I kind of think I don't know if she just thought, oh, it's just been swept under the carpet. It must have been a bit of a surprise for her, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if she's still sort of hearing these streams and stuff, and that must be quite disappointing. But I would say deserved, personally. Because it's not just us as well, there's lots of people who are now sort of, or a few people, or 2 people who are now making videos about Kennedy.
Yeah, and when you listen back, you're like, oh my God, so cringeworthy. I mean, we didn't used to want to tell her because, she wasn't doing any harm, but the point is now she has. Everybody's jumped on her back and she's screwed now, that's the problem.
I mean, I did tell her many years ago about being a better streamer, and she seemed to take it quite well. But this was long before this incident happened. But I said,
did you say concentrate on your content before you start selling merch?
No, I said stop talking about yourself so much because people are here to listen to us talking about Lorne, not just about you. I was like, it's fine to digress into a story occasionally about you, but the stream, it's not Kennedy's stream, it's Lorne's stream. And but she took it quite well, as I recall.
Well, the thing is, it was bizarre. She kind of knew that because she said like the worst YouTuber in the world on the description of her of her channel.
Yeah.
So she kind of knew that she was shit, but kind of wanted to sell merch at the same time. I was like, well, which side of the fence are you on here? I found that very confusing.
She's from the south. She is from the south.
That was so funny. That was so funny. That video, that amalgamation that Wes put out on that channel was fucking gold.
I very fortunately, Clobber sent that to me ages ago, so I'd already heard it. But yeah, it is. It's the Kennedy cringe compilation is genius.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, there's nobody, right? Surely that will agree that Joran did anything that's more entertaining than that in whatever context.
But
our cringe fest is brilliant.
Whoever put the time and effort into getting all that together needs to be thanked, I think.
I thought it was Wes.
The Kennedy it is the Kennedy cringe compilation, isn't it? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it was made. Clobber will know. He'll be able to tell us if he's still here.
Probably him.
But what was because we've got Shin here as well. If he's still listening as well, it's like I wanted to talk about sort of theoretically if I would have had any legal. Like I'm not going to take legal action. I'm clearly not that vindictive. I don't know if I even would because all the evidence, like all she's done is send my dick to someone, but I'm claiming it's my dick. My face isn't even in the picture, so. I wonder, theoretically...
Yeah, very similar.
What? But I wonder, theoretically, if I would have been able to take legal action against her. What's the longest time we spent talking or texting? So, like, when we had that sort of... trying to think of a good word.
Sex session.
Sex session. That's not a good word for it. I was trying to think of something a little bit less obvious, but I would say we were talking for maybe a week over that time via text, and then there was like at least one Skype call, if not 2 Skype calls. So we talked quite a lot. But what I wanted to ask Shin was whether if I decided to go, well, this person's trying to defame my reputation, would I have had a legal case? That's what I'm quite curious about. My my 80 million lawsuit against Kennedy.
I'd love to see that court case, man. Oh my God. Can you imagine Kennedy's defense statement if she got like a legal team together? That'd be just dreamlike.
Well, Shin said I've got a case. So, and what about, because it's international though, so I don't know if it works across like UK to US. Can I?
Did she actually, from what Shin said there, did she actually call you out for being a predator by actual word?
Yes.
Did she use that word?
What did she said, and I believe it was to Wes, and I think I've seen the screenshot of the text, but I could be wrong. But she said, I found the new Joran, there's a predator in the community, or something like that. There's a predator within the community. So can I sue her here, Shin? I don't know if I can. I mean, I'd love to get her to have a debate stream and try and find out what her reasoning was. But it's just going to be like, she's just going to be like, oh, I was just looking for work. So she'll just say, oh, I thought you were John Pedersen. So
that'll get her off any charge. I think you should sue her though, just for the entertainment value, dude.
She'll just go.
Do you know what they'd do? They'd get rid of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial and put you and Kennedy on instead.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're in Kennedy's eyes, we're definitely more deserving of the popularity. Oh, I didn't realize I'd have to. Could you not do it like via video link up? I mean, I'm not really going to take. It costs too much money out of my own pocket, unless Shin wants to represent me for free. But I don't think there wouldn't be any jurisdiction I'd have over YouTube, though, to say, right, you must come on YouTube and talk about your crimes, and then we'd like put her up in front of a jury. That'd be quite interesting. Like,
Clobberin said that she did use that word.
Yeah, she did. Well, that's.
I assume he's referring to predator and not southerner.
Yeah,
because we know she used that word. But yeah, it's quite. It doesn't surprise me that she has, but still, not nice to hear.
No. Maybe I still haven't processed it fully. I think a lot of people would want, vengeance, but
no, I think it's like I said, dude. I think it's because you don't see it all as any threat now. If it had caused you any harm, maybe you would have done. But really, what harm has it done you?
In fact, in a way, it's
a bit of embarrassment.
A bit of embarrassment, but it's actually been beneficial, because I've been back in contact with lots of people that I hadn't been before. Yourself, Clobber, people that I hadn't ever spoken to before, like Wes as well, that I've got to speak to. So, in a way, it's kind of become something positive. I met people like Honest as well, who's really nice, and the Lorne Identity, who's got great content, but I never had a chance to speak to before. And so,
that's true, because we haven't spoke for quite a while. We kind of lost contact, really, didn't we? And then Kennedy's brought us all together.
Kennedy brought us back together. So some good has come out of her malicious actions.
And and you got some Skype fun out of it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I've got to say it wasn't worth it now, looking back.
It's funny that we could just joke about it though, and just take it for what it is, because it's good that I'm so glad that people view it for what it is. It was two consenting adults. It's nothing's. No one's done anything. Well, she has.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad that nobody's taking them. Well, you shouldn't have done that. She was clearly vulnerable. Oh, fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely more good than bad has come out of it, in my opinion. But it's not a nice thing to have someone accusing you of something you're not. But, and I mentioned this when I streamed with Clobber and everyone, that even if I did have a thing for pregnant married women, there's worse things to be into.
I thought you were. I thought that was true.
No, I just have a thing for any woman. It doesn't matter, pregnant, married, obese,
turned into a man. You're good for it all. You're not judging anybody.
Oh, who wouldn't want that? Best of both worlds. But anyway, no. But I mean, I didn't specifically. The thing is, and I think with the timelines, I don't know if Kennedy was even even pregnant when it happened. So it was all very odd. Yeah, Clobber was more upset because of her trying to, like, but that's because of her absolute bullshit story about going, oh, I've had words with Clobber about calling me precious. Like, well, no, you haven't. You just talk out of your ass all the time.
I forgot about that. Did he? I've totally forgot. She said something about him as well, didn't she? Which is just.
She said that basically, and I might be misquoting or something, but it was along the lines of she was abused as a kid, and that's what they used to call her. So she didn't like Clobber calling her precious.
Right, which is obviously bullshit.
Yeah.
Because is there anybody that hasn't been called that in the community at some point? I think even like you message me that on a daily basis. So you know, it's all good.
Yeah, no, I mean the thing is, she's like, if she's embarrassed about this, Venefika's just said like there's nothing to be embarrassed about, and as far as I was concerned, it was a private affair between two consenting adults, and that's where it should have been left. And now I've had to air all of our dirty laundry, and that's because of her actions. So you know, she's walked out of this with no integrity, no YouTube clout anymore. I mean, she deleted her whole channel. I must say as well though, like I think most of our viewers are probably the best, most intelligent people in the world, so that's good. But just be careful if you do go looking for her channel, because there's someone else with the exact same name but she spells Kennedy properly. Don't send that person any horrible messages.
Too late. I'll have to retract them.
Yeah. But yeah. So, and I had a really good title for a Kennedy video, but and I told Clobber it, but I've still never had a chance to use it. But I think the time has passed now, to be honest. But I really wanted to title a video the character assassination of Kennedy.
Great.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Shit, I don't think I'll really, like, I just wanted your advice, shit. I don't think I'll go to an actual lawyer and stuff. I don't think here, I don't know if it's the same in the States, but I don't think you can, I think you still have to pay for consultations and stuff, and I'm not really. Oh yeah, her second channel is still
unfortunately up. There's very little content on it. You know, there was one video she did,
Dream Daddy,
which was called Update, and it was remarkable. I must have watched it 50 times, and she said, I have a second channel now. She talked about creating a second channel. She didn't know what she was going to put on there, but it's for all her new wacky stuff. She said, I'm going to be putting 3 videos out on that channel a week and 2 on my old. That's 5 videos a week. Initially, she couldn't add up, so she got the number wrong. Then all we got was 2 videos on a new channel in the space of 6 months. Then she released a video saying she was suffering from burnout. That was remarkable. Like, just the most remarkable YouTube content in history, and it was brilliant.
Oh.
There was one stream she did where it was just a dog panting in front of the camera. Well, you could just see her behind the dog.
Do you know what I never could get my head around? It's on that second channel, the Dream Daddy gameplay. Like, because of my old job when I was in Spain, I've played some pretty bad sort of graphic visual novels in my time. But like that game, it's just got really weird undertones to it. Like I'm playing a dream, like I'm going to design my dream daddy. And yeah,
it's a bit weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, I've never played Dream Daddy personally, so maybe I'm missing out.
You designed it.
I play Dream...
You and Joran fucking collaborated.
No, me and Joran play Dream Daughter. Anyway.
Can you borrow that me, please?
Anyway, anyway, I'd just like to be clear. I've never played any games with Joran.
Unfortunately,
not for want of trying.
Actually, we've got to mention. I don't think we've even mentioned it. Like how much of an actual shit show the Jorrun Kennedy stream was, and we all kind of egged them on from the background, which I was a bit. You know, I'm like forgetting on my moral high horse. I was like, isn't this a bit cruel? But the entertainment value we got from, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it fell flat, but I was just like, what a shit show. This is the lowest point that YouTube has ever fucking sunk to.
Wasn't it the day after that woman burst into the building and started shooting them all up at YouTube?
It fucking was, wasn't
it? She heard that
when YouTube crashed and burned that very moment.
I'm sorry to, like, because it might be a too soon joke, so I apologise for kind of laughing at what must have been a catastrophic event for some people, but it wouldn't surprise me if someone had heard that Jorrun Comedy stream and gone and shot up the YouTube building.
I can't live anymore.
How dare you allow this?
Your algorithms didn't pick that up. Well, yeah. Fuck the lot of you.
But yeah, no, I remember we were both in that. Everyone was in that stream, though, wasn't it? Because it was.
Oh yeah, it was a massive event. All fucking shouting from the sidelines. Well, shame on all of us.
Yeah, like we were all donating as well and everything. Oh, that's the stream that Joran made $80 from and didn't give it to Kennedy, and she said, "Fine, keep it," and then later said, "Oh, he never even offered to give me half the money." It's like, well, you said something completely different before, but we were all in there just sending like donations with little messages in them and stuff.
I want to listen to that again. Could someone tell me? I'm assuming Clobber will know. Is that stream still available somewhere? Because I want to fucking listen to that.
Oh, because that would have been on Joran's channel as well, wasn't it?
Someone's got to enrich.
Oh, do you know what we should do if anyone still has it? Is a reaction video to it.
Oh yeah, right. Someone says it's still available. If it's still, brilliant. Could someone put a link in the comments to that stream?
It'll have to be a moderator because if someone puts it in the moderator or
in the comment, but in the comments.
After the stream. Yeah. Put it in the comment room.
And then should we do? Oh God, are we gonna sink that low where we do a reaction video to that, Adam? We're gonna have to do it for a laugh, aren't we?
We don't.
Aren't we jumping on the Joran bandwagon then after slagging him off in this stream?
Well, maybe we'll change our minds. And I would say with recent events between Kennedy and myself, it's kind of fair game whether Joran's there or not. So
right, you heard it here, guys. Quality YouTube entertainment. Me and Adam, fucking going over the worst YouTube video in history that made violence occur. That's where you fucking
yeah. And if you never hear from us again afterwards.
Oh my God, that I'm kind of strangely
aroused.
Yeah, but I'm always strangely, especially when I'm talking to you and staring at my own picture. Do you know what?
Weird. And this might get me into trouble with recent events, but I just got I'm doing what the kids call flexing right now, but I just got the Galaxy Earbuds Pro 2, and I was listening to a Kelp Pill stream with them on, and I have to turn them off. Her voice is too sexy to come through such great sound quality. I'm
glad for telling everybody what you think, dude. That's great.
Yeah, but So if you've got really high quality headphones, don't listen to Kelp Pill through them. It's too much. It's too strangely arousing. But
people's voices, fucking open marriage, fucking crazy girls. It doesn't take much to get you going, does it?
I know. Just anything. I mean, still haven't watched, got through all of those speed cleaning videos yet.
Well, and that reminds me, I'm gonna have to go now. Anyway, I really have to get cracking.
Well, I have to drive to Glasgow in an hour, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, have a good time, dude. And, maybe just put the stream on for entertainment.
Right, Kelp Pill needs to first get married and then pregnant, and then I'll be all over.
Well, how about if you marry her, get her pregnant, and then
it's no point if it's my wife and my baby, Andy. You don't understand how a pregnant married predator works.
Oh, okay. Right. You're gonna have to tell me about it because I'm interested in.
It's an ego power thing, isn't it? Like, I can get you from your husband. I'm just joking. This isn't. I'm starting to make it sound like this is actually my fetish now, and it's not.
It's because it fucking is.
Get her a dinner ring.
You know, there's stuff that we could. Never mind.
Well, yeah. Let's. No, my fetishes. I'm not going to start talking about them now, but they're very.
No, I was kind of more referring to. Yeah, I have heard. So actually,
I've heard. Who's been telling? One of my exes been going, "Oh, Adam's boring in bed." Oh,
No, but it was like a dark sense of humor that kind of like the stuff that we used to joke about when we were off our heads in Barcelona.
What, the permission slips?
Oh, we can't even.
We can't talk about that on live stream.
That was the funniest thing that anybody's. Permission slip.
Well, it was. I think we can sort of explain the context of it. Right. So Andy and we'd been, let's say, drinking all day, and we were sat in a bar just talking rubbish as you do, and we got onto the topic of midget porn, and I just happened to say to Andy, like, who allows them to do it? Do they have to get a permission slip? And he pointed out, quite rightfully, that they're adults and they're allowed to do porn if they want. So
who would sign the permission slip for them?
their guardian or parent. I hereby say, I allow my midget to. Look, I don't know how these things work. I don't know the intricacies of it. Are
you trying to tell me that you've never been production manager of a midget porn movie?
Sadly, no.
Oh my good God, that was so funny though, because it just came out. I can't even remember how we got on that topic, and I'll tell you when it was. It was when we walked all the way from the top. We went up on the mountain in the funicular, whatever it's called, and walked it all the way to Barcelona Beach.
Yeah.
All that way, and then the day after we were fucked. Do you remember?
No, you were complaining a lot, but
Oh yeah, tough man, wasn't bothered at all.
No, but it's a walk I've done a few times. I enjoy that. Well, not recently, for a long time now, but that's what I was. In fact, I was speaking to another friend who had come to visit me in Barcelona yesterday, and I was like, "Where did we go when you came to Barcelona?" I was like, "Tibidabo," and he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's where I take everyone, and then force them to walk down the mountain, and then walk forever." And they always complain. They're like, "Why are you making me walk so much?"
And do you remember that family that we gave the wrong directions to when they were stuck on the mountain?
Oh yeah. Because they heard us talking English, didn't they?
Yeah, they're still there now. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just over there where them wild boars are.
Yeah. Oh, there was a lot of wild boar as well. I'll never forget picking up
that fucking dog as well that nearly killed us when it was in that big house. It was barking on the wall.
When it jumped up and I jumped out of my skin. Yeah. But it's a beautiful walk, though. If you ever get the opportunity to go to Barcelona, I highly recommend it. Take some good walking shoes. Don't take the metro from the city up to Tibidabo because they charge you tourist prices. Take the FGC train out to Valderesh. No, it's the stop past Valderesh, but I can't remember the name of it. Switch there and get on the funicular railway, which costs the same as the normal metro journey. Then you walk up to the top of the mountain. At the top of the mountain, there's a little theme park. Don't worry with that shit. Go to the bar, have a beer, and then you walk from the top of the mountain to the beach that you can see, which is fucking miles away. But you get to walk all the way down, seeing all these incredible views. And then as you walk through the city, like we did it right, you just stop and have a beer when your legs are tired, and then you keep walking, and then you get to the beach, and you're like, wow, I've walked from... And then you can look back at the big building, the monastery at the top of Tibidabo, and look back at where you've come from on the beach and be like, wow, I walked all that way. It's honestly one of the best, cheapest activities you can ever do if you get the chance to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, and we were off our fucking heads as well, weren't we? Do you remember?
Yeah, all day long. Like we were gone by the time we got off the funicular railway.
Oh yeah, fucking hell! That was.
That train journey. Oh, do you remember that? And the English guys, and we were so angry at them. We were like, fucking English cunts, making us all look like shit because they were like drinking and shouting. Like we were doing the same, but we were.
We'd like to think we were more dignified.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So we're just like, that makes me embarrassed to be English. We're real Spaniards. We're here all the time.
Oh my god. Anyway, it's been nice to. They were good times, weren't they? It was good. It was great fun.
And we didn't even get a chance to talk about Better Call Saul, or for me to tell you that you need to watch Atlanta.
No, but you have mentioned that before.
Please.
And
go
I'm on the second episode of Better Call Saul, by the way, now. So.
Oh, right. I'm up to date. I'm waiting for the latest one.
Yeah, second episode of season 6, I mean.
Yeah. No, I'm on. It's about episode 4 now, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, we're on that. And for anybody that you won't be into this, Adam, because it's
Star Wars.
Sci-fi. No, sci-fi. A series, a Ridley Scott series called Raised by Wolves, which is fucking magnificent. I've only watched this first episode. It's one of the best things I've ever seen.
I like some sci-fi. It just depends.
You might like that. It's not quite as silly as Star Wars. And all that.
Absolutely loved Quantum Leap. I love time travel. I think I've just got this weird thing about stuff that's set in fantasy lands, and like for some reason, like if it starts grounded in reality and then switches to a fantasy land, I can deal with that. But like for example, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, I just have no interest in those things that are complete fantasy. I think I was always put off Lord of the Rings because I read The Hobbit when I was about 11 and I hated it. But no, I did watch Snowpiercer. I've actually given up on it. That's kind of sci-fi as well. And Black Mirror to an extent is sci-fi.
Yeah,
and that's
it is. You're right.
Like that's like my favourite show of all time. One of them, anyway. But Atlanta, you should watch just because it's like this third season. It's really divided opinion, but I'm getting big Black Mirror vibes from the third season because some of it's like anthology episodes. I don't know if you'll enjoy the more linear episodes, but maybe just watch the anthology episodes because they like really have thought-provoking episodes. Like there's one called The Big Payback, and it's completely standalone. So if you get a chance, just watch that episode.
No, I will do. Definitely will do.
Yeah, it's really, really good, Atlanta. It's like one of those shows that it comes out on a Thursday night in America. First thing I do on a Friday morning is watch it now.
Right, excellent.
Yeah.
I don't check that out. Right.
If anyone in the chat's seen Atlanta, but it's great. Highly recommend. Right, sorry, Andy, I'm holding you up.
It's all right, dude.
Your bedtime.
It
is. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone in the chat. It's been really good fun, and there should be more of these to come more regularly, hopefully. And thanks for joining me, Andy.
Yeah, cheers, dude. No, it has been good. It's been good fun, and the fact that we're going to do this Joran.
Oh yeah,
are we actually going to do that?
Yeah. We can do it on here if you want. We'll just do a Jorrun Kennedy stream reaction. I think that'd be quite good. Oh, by the way, guys, just keep an eye out for when these streams do start because I can't find out how you schedule streams anymore. I literally, for the life of me, couldn't do it earlier. I know some people came into when I accidentally started a stream when I was trying to get everything set up earlier, and
I'll tell you how to do it. I couldn't find it for ages. They make it as inconspicuous as possible, but once you've got it, it's pretty straightforward.
See, the thing is as well, I found how you can schedule it, but what I found is I'll schedule it and then I'll open a different stream to actually start the stream, so everyone's sitting.
It's a pain in the ass, dude. It really is.
Oh, thanks, Skeleton, as well. And thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. So I will... I'll let Billy get back to chatterbaiting, and and let Andy get to bed. He's probably I was going to say something paedophilic about you, but
spying on next door's children. Well, they've gone to sleep, unfortunately. That's why I wanted.
That's the only reason you're streaming. Like, they go to bed at 7:45, so I'll be free at 8. And then, of course, there's the Jimmy Savile campaign he's working on too. So
yeah, it's a never-ending thing. Nobody seems to be buying it. Right? Okay, dude.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Take it easy, everyone. Remember, stay safe, and we will speak to you soon.